Hey guys, this is Steven with the String Doctor. I'm back again to haven't made a video in quite a while or put an installment up on Facebook in a while with different repairs and stuff with a few guitars, some how-to videos and stuff like that. This one's a little bit different now. I'm working on a project that I actually found on the internet at Robinette.com. A guy named Rob Robinette. He's like a former engineer, military guy, stuff like that. He's did a lot of cool engineering and has several instructions to build some small tube amps, to build like smaller versions of some of your bigger amps and stuff like that. Now, this one was built on from AX84.com, which is an AX84.com high octane amp. It's kind of a Marshall Plexi type circuit with 5 watts with dual gains, with a pair of 12 AX7s and EL84 output. This one is based on a 57 Tweed, but it's a 1 watt output version of it that uses a 12 AU7 and a 12 AT7 tube. Has a boost switch involved with it and stuff like that, but you can play it at bedroom volumes. I had this old Fender, this little transistor solid state amp. Let's see, here's the gut side of it. Give you an idea, it was a little bullet reverb. The reverb didn't work, but I've still got the little amp chassis. Obviously can't do much with this kind of chassis and stuff, so I had to make a chassis. But anyway, I'm going to put this circuit into this amp, a little 8-inch speaker in it and stuff like that. It's a nice looking little cabinet, and more or less make a 1 watt version of a 57 Tweed where it looks like a 65 Champ. Since we had it make it look like a black face and look pretty and stuff like that. But that's going to be the next couple of little episodes here, String Doctor, and we'll put them all together in one finally at the end, maybe the different parts depending on how long it is. But either way, we'll keep it posted in the next following weeks. Hopefully in the next 3 weeks or so this thing will be finished and ready to go. And like I said, someone can get on RobRobinette.com, look at the other products he has. He has other stuff listed also. And don't be scared to get your hands dirty. If you've got some soldering skills, you've got some stuff you want to do, these things are kind of cool to fool with. Wouldn't recommend jumping into building a tube amp right offhand. At least maybe by watching this you have a better knowledge and a better idea how it works. Because I mean, these things can be pretty dangerous. There are a lot of fatal volts inside of these things, and even after you turn them off, if the capacitors haven't drained down completely and stuff like that, if they've been plugged up, they can hold voltage, sometimes at 24 hours. And this just being a 5 watt amp, the first B plus capacitor on it carries a voltage of around 360 volts, and they go down a little bit from there in the 3 test points. But it's potentially fatal voltages all the time, so I have to make that little disclaimer if I'm going to talk about putting your hands in a tube amp at all. Well, that being said, we'll move on over here to the table and show some of the parts that are going into this. I mean, this is just the box that holds the speakers, nothing special. And you can build your own cabinet, obviously, and stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff out there. Anyway, we'll move the camera over here to the table now and look at some of our materials and get an idea of what's going on with this. It's not a cheap project. I mean, there are kits of those you can buy that are ready-made, but you can't buy this particular circuit in a ready-made kit, so it's kind of cool to take on something like this. But hopefully we'll have a better knowledge after we go through this, and I don't know how it's going to sound. We'll kind of see how that is together. This one's a great success, one of the best sound amps we've ever heard. This one, who knows? I mean, if it's good, we might build something else off of the page. If not, we'll move on from there, but either way, we'll kind of learn something together. Anyway, let's go check this out. Okay, moving on over here, we'll see a few of the parts laid out. Obviously, you've got the power transformer. Your output transformer, in this case, is actually a reverb transformer. This is a Hammond 1750. You can use a standard reverb transformer like out of a Fender Champ and stuff like that, depending on what you got laying around. These are not terribly expensive. That was around $65. This one's around $20. That being the most expensive piece you'll buy for this thing. I'm going to reuse the factory Fender 8-inch speaker for now. If this thing sounds good, I'll spend $50 on a good speaker, like some warehouse speakers, what I have in my other amp. I like those a lot. Obviously, it's going to take a bunch of resistors and stuff like that. That's actually on the schematic that I don't have here right now, but I'll show it a little later on. Another resistor for different ones. There's several different wattages. Some are up to 2 watts. This one's like 5 watts, so that kind of thing. Of course, you have to, one of the first things you'll do on the outside of the chassis. In this case, I had to make this chassis, and I'm making a faceplate. Don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. But I had to make a chassis. It's just sheet metal from like Home Depot. A couple pieces of wood in there where it'll actually mount in there. All this was made ahead of time. I've already drilled the holes for the front components, the controls and the input, pilot light, stuff like that, and laid it out. But on the back, you have to kind of do a quick layout. You want your power transformer on your power switch in, obviously, and the power cord coming in somewhere. I'll probably bring mine on the bottom and run to it, just to keep it a cleaner application. But to get an idea, obviously this will be turned over, but we'll just do this for this sake to stand up. And probably put my output transformer somewhere, I don't know, somewhere along here, kind of out of the way. Get away from it so the heat doesn't butt off each other. It's only 2 tubes in this one, and they're both the same tube socket. So to give you an idea, I'll just get off the end where it doesn't hit the edge of the chassis. And this will have a hole cut out, and that'll go in there like that. But it gives you an idea of how it looks. Obviously, you have to draw a template and then drill according to that. And when you're doing it by ear, when you do it on the fly like this, you kind of have to drill it a little bit and then work on it. You drill these holes first. And those are just the different parts and stuff like that. Then, of course, you'll flip it over in here. And we have to make a turret board. You can use a turret board or an old eyelet board that has eyelets in it. I don't like the eyelets, the turrets are cleaner. Anyhow, like so, once you get everything drilled on the outside, no matter where it goes, you put your turret board in here. This one's actually too long. I have to cut some stuff off. It needs to be the transformer, because this is going to come up through the chassis, so it's going to need to clear that. But to give you an idea, that would go in here. I always get your components done. These guys will be sticking up through the bottom of it, and you do all your wiring on this. And because basically you come off the power cord and off of the fuse, which will be somewhere right in here. Run up here to the power switch and the light, and then you have the filaments to run back to these. Of course, there's an input and outputs for the speaker will be one of those. The 2 tubes, like we said, the big capacity, these are the guys that charge up to 300 and some odd volts. And the turrets for that. And there's a process to doing this. Once I get the correct one drawn, we'll go out to the shop with the drill press, and there's a little fixture that you put in there to press these in and then flare the ends of them out. Really simple process, and we'll go through that as we go. So that's it for now. When we come back again, we'll be in the shop with the drill press, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, we're back out here in the shop now, and we'll show you guys how we drill the turret board and how we actually put the little turrets in there. And if you look closely at them, kind of this end that you actually solder to, it's got a little groove here, and you can go through the top, and things to wrap around and help grip them. This side actually goes through the board. You actually see there's a drill hole here that's too big, but you actually press them into the board once you drill them. They'll stick out like that, and then we'll get a little fixture we'll put in here and press them in. But I'm going to proceed with drilling all these little holes that I have marked, and then we'll kind of show how to actually put the fixture in here, which is this little guy that a friend of mine made for me, that you put these in here like this, and you'll press them down in there. And then we got another fixture. Another fixture is just a bolt with a beveled edge, and you put that down the drill press, put this in the top, and when you press it down, it will bevel the edge out. If you can see that, it'll flare the end out right here. That way it pushes down the board and it can't come back through. But I'm going to turn the camera off and start drilling all these holes out and stuff in just a second, because obviously you don't want to sit here and watch all of this, but just get started. Okay guys, for this, make sure your drill press is off and unplugged. You'd hate to accidentally turn it on and grind your finger up. This is the little fixture that my friend made. It's just a simple piece of steel rod with a hole drilled in it, just big enough for the knurled end of the turret to go through, with the small end to push through. And it's fixed where you can just push it in here like this. And I'm going to get my socket kind of lined up under it. Find the hole that we can get to. I'm going to line up over the hole like this. And get it pretty close. It'll push through. It'll find its way through. And just use the drill press and the pressure to pull down. When it goes through, that's it. It just pushes through the board. It'll leave a little bit sticking out. And in a minute after we get all these pressed in, we'll go back with this fixture in here and put them back in the same way, and it'll push down on that and flare it out. It's just a bolt with the end of it ground down. But once you do all of these, I'm not going to bore you to death with that. Turn the camera off a minute. When we turn it back on, be ready to flare the ends out. We'll be done with the turret board. Okay, back one more time. We got a little fixture in here. We'll put the turret and the board in it. Push it down so it centers itself on that. And essentially, you want to flare them all like this. So we'll start this guy. I've already done one just to kind of check it out. Put down, just kind of watch your work underneath. Make sure it's centered up on it. And when it is centered up on it, you just want to get the grip and just gently ease it down. It'll work its way in. And every one of them will just kind of flare out like that. Ain't got to be perfect. We just don't want them to fall out. Well, I'm sure there's a proper machine out there for this, but we don't have it. And you don't want the boat super tight because sometimes it'll move. You just have to keep an eye on what you're doing. But essentially you want to flare them all out kind of like that and stuff till you get done with this. And get down, they won't fall out. I'm going to stop this and we'll come back when we've got it all said and done. Okay guys, well, I'm still out here in the shop. We just got done with this thing. There it is with all the turrets pressed in it and kind of flared from behind. They're not real pretty on the back side. I screwed up a few of them. You have to kind of yank them out and throw them away, but hey, it happens. That's why you buy extra ones whenever you do this. Looks like I've got maybe 2 left over. This not messed up. That's about it for now. I'm going to try to get this one posted. When we come back in, we'll be at the table looking at this. I've still got to get the chassis out and lay out the parts like we talked about and drill and cut the hose. I'm not going to make a video of that because that's rather boring. And if you don't have a knowledge of how to use some power tools, then get someone else to do this part for you anyway. But until I see you next time, please check this out on YouTube at the String Doctor and also at 6 String Doctor on Facebook. Maybe there we may do a Patreon account before long, that if people like these projects and all, if they want to throw a few dollars toward Patreon, I can use it to fund more projects. Because these things are expensive, so once I get this one done, it may be a while before I can do another one, being on a working man's budget like I am. But I would like to do these a little more, and who knows, if we start doing a Patreon thing for this thing, if it sounds good, we may see how much money I can raise for Patreon. Once it reaches a certain amount, I'll do a drawing of anybody that wants to throw a few dollars at it, and we'll give this thing away maybe. And might do that some more in the future. Who knows yet, but we'll figure it out. But until next time, you guys have a great day and a great week, and I'll see you next time. I'm the String Doctor, Steven, saying goodbye for now.